So hello friends, welcome to this particular video. In this video, you are going to learn about the authentication using the Firebase modular version. So we are going to provide the authentication using the email and password, and we are going to design the login screen and sign up screen, for which I will take the reference of my earlier YouTube video. So you will get the link in the description. Go and check that out if you want to design the same, and if you want to design something else, definitely you are free to do whatever you want to do. So guys, I will show you all the stuff out here, and then we will apply the modular version for the authentication part. We will go for sign in and sign up, not the forget password feature. So let's get started with this particular video, guys. So far you have seen that we have designed the complete chat application properly. We have the homepage ready, we have the chat boxes ready, and everything is good to go. Only thing that is left in the designing part is the empty screen. We haven't done anything out here, don't need to worry. We will do that up, or should I do it quickly? But you need to understand what exactly I'm going to do. So let's do that up quickly and then move ahead. So out here in the particular design part, well, I'm going to have this particular code. Now this code is giving us problem. I know why it is done, but I'll explain you up right now, because we don't have any module where I'm using it up, and I cannot use Ionic tags directly out here. So I need to have a module. So Ionic G module, because I can use it wherever I want. So I'll make a module for that. So Ionic G module, I'll name it as components. So it will be appearing within the components folder only directly, because the name is same. So it will be creating a folder of the same name. That is why I've created the same name folder out here. Now you can see this file is coming up, and along with the common modules, I will have Ionic module 2. Once that is done, in the declaration, I'm going to use this empty screen component. I'm going to import it up, and in the imports also, exports, I'll have the same thing, empty screen component. Now you will see there won't be any error out here for the tags. We will have only errors for this particular model because it is not available out here. We will declare it right now. So let me just pass it out here, and it's done. Let me import that. Alright, now all the errors are gone. Great. So what exactly I have done, I have used a grid where I'm using two rows. Okay, in one row I have the icon, in which I'm passing dynamic icons which you can pass, and you can change the color also. And in the second row, well, I have placed everything in the center, and in the second row, what am I doing? I am having an ion label where you can pass title if you have that, and you can have the subtitle also if you have. That is why I've given ngif out here, but for the title you will have like no chat available or something. Whatever message you want to give, you can give it out here along with the icon. Okay, that's what it means. Now we can play around with the designing. You won't be able to see this particular one for the time being. Later on, when we implement everything, I'll show this part also out there. All right, but just try to understand it's just simple designing only. I'm just making the icon to be little bigger, because it should cover up at least 34% of the space of the, what do you say, the iron content one. All right, that is why I've given a little bigger. And then just moving from Y direction to 10 VH, it should leave 10 VH from the top and just move towards the bottom. That's why I've given 10 VH translate to the Y direction. That's what I've done. All right, so this is the only thing that I have used out here. Now we are good to go to work with this particular stuff wherever we want to by implementing this or calling this particular components module in our modules out here in the home and chat one. But we'll work with that later on. Now we need to do one important thing. We need to implement the Firebase. So for that, I'll go to the firebase.google.com, and I'm already logged in out here. So I'll directly go to the console. Now in the console, well, I have many applications, so you can create one out here, but I already have created that. So I'll go inside it directly. I won't show you all the methods for understanding all the methods. Well, it is already explained in my course, and I think I've already explained in some YouTube videos also regarding this. So you can just check that out. Now what I'll do, I'll go to the authentication. So in the authentication, I already have few accounts. So I'll just use those accounts, and you can create one, but not directly. Well, if you are jumping to this one for the first time, then you will get an option to select email, password or something. So I've just selected email and password authentication. That's what I've gone for, and it's good to go. Now for the Firestore, you will get the option to create the database. You just simply go for that. I have already created the database, so it is empty for the time being, because I have cleared everything from here to show you from scratch. So that's why I have done. And the rules are very important. I have said a simple rule for test mode. So I've set allow read write if true. That means it will always allow no matter whatever you do. All right, so that is what I have done. Later on for production, you should not use this up. I won't show you this part because I've already explained it in my courses, so you can just check that out. And in order to work with that, how you need to tackle all this stuff. All right, so I'll just skip this part and I'll directly go to the data and work with this particular one. So in order to work with the authentication and all of the stuff, we need to design for the login and sign up also. And for that, I am using, well, the already created design. Let me just show you. Let me go to GitHub. So I'm using this particular login and sign up screen which I have already created in my YouTube videos, whose link is already there in the, you will already get the link in section 1 or in the description. You can just check it out if you're watching it on YouTube. All right, so these things I'll be using it again, and I will be playing around with the Firebase authentication part. So let's do that quickly. So in order to do it out here, what am I going to do in the pages one only, or should I, let's go for creating it up. Ionic G page, within the pages I will have login page. Okay, let's go for that. So this is created. Then I will have within the login, I will have the sign up page also. Fine. So this is also created. Once that is done, we are good to go. We can see out here where it is, pages, login, and within that we have the sign up. So let's do that quickly. So for the login, I'll go to the HTML and I'll simply paste the code. So this was the code that I have already used out here, and I'm using the form group out here. For the form group, because this is a reactive form, so I need to go to the module and I need to have out here reactive forms module. I need to import it up, otherwise this will keep on giving me errors based on form group. Now we don't have that error, but I need to work around with the what is this TypeScript file. Okay, so few things I have tweaked out here, so that is why I'm just doing little hurry up. So but most of the things I have already covered up out there in that particular video, so you can just check that out. All right, and on submit click event is being passed out here, and there is a sign up button also. So let me just work around with this functionality out here in the ng on in it, and we are good to go. So at first I'm going to have something called init form. Let me paste it. This is the form group. Import it up. Form control also I'll import it up. Validators also I'll import it up. So this is just to validate whether email and password are proper or not based on the conditions that I have given. Now this form is a property. Let me declare a few properties out here. One is the form group one. For the form is type password, whether you have typed it or not, and is login is true or false. For the loader, we can have it out here. All right, so these are the things that I'm going to use. Is type password is basically to show the password or not, which is already being done out here. Where it is, what's wrong? Okay, required. So this is the one, this is the type that is getting changed. All right, you can just drag that out. Then on change, let's work with that. So I'll go to the TypeScript and I'll have two functions out here. One is on change, another one is on submit, where we are going to perform the login functionality. All right, so this is the stuff that we need to have. Now the errors are gone, but one error is left, which is this particular one. So why it is occurring? The required one is errors. All right, it is saying that it should be done in this particular manner. No, actually I'm getting a lot of errors if I do that up. I think this dot is not needed. Now it's fine, I suppose. Right. Okay, great. Let's go to our designing and see whether it works or not. For that, I need to go to the login one. The route is defined automatically. So this is the login design, which is not coming up properly because I need to work with the CSS of it. In the CSS, we have done a lot of part. So I'll just simply paste it and I won't cover up anything. You just download the code and get it from there itself. All right. So now let's check it out. Okay, what's wrong? So after giving this also, it is not coming up because for the circle, I have not given anything. Let's go for that, because I need it in two places, so I'll do it globally. So there are a few things which I have maintained in the global.scss. Let me quickly paste that up. So these are the stuff, welcome message, error message, whatever it is. So it's already done out there. If you don't find it, you can simply copy and paste it up. I won't explain this particular part. Now you get the proper design. And if you click on sign up, you are getting ahead to the sign up one. Let's design that also quickly. So in the sign up one, I'll copy and paste everything from there. All right. Out here also, I need to use the reactive forms. So reactive forms module imported. Errors are slightly gone. Now in the sign up SCSS, and let's see what do we need to do. So I'm just pasting whatever changes we need to do out here. Everything is done. Then for the TypeScript one, what exactly I need to do, let's go for that. So out here also, let me just replace all of this. Init form, on change and submit function, register we will use it later on. Now I need few properties out here too. Let's go for that also. And that's the same one that we did out there. Form group, we need to import it up. Form control also, let's import it. And validators also, I'll import it up. Once that is done, everything is good to go. But we have few errors in our HTML. Let's check it out. What is it? Again, this is the one. All right. In this particular manner, I'll sort it. Okay. So the errors are gone now, right? Let's check it out. What is the design that is coming up in the sign up one? That's great. Actually, that's what I wanted, right? That's what we see out here too. Here, this is the one, correct? All right. So now this part doesn't have any functionality, but I have still given. If you want, you can remove it up. I won't work with that. Then this remember me also is of no use, and forget password, I'm not doing anything for that also, but I'll work with the other stuff directly out here. So you have seen how we can create a Firebase. You can try it up. Okay, like I have told you, you can just go ahead with this and you can get along with all the installation part of this particular Firestore, right? Once that is done, what you need to do, how you can integrate this Firebase to this particular one with your application. All right. Well, I have already shown this setup of Firebase earlier on also. I'm just telling you again, and I'll share the link in the description. You can just check that out. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to integrate that up. For integration, well, we need to use something. Let's go for that. So in our application, I'm going to use npm i-g Firebase tools. If you already have that, you don't need to do that. Firebase tools, and I'll hit enter. Now, once that is done, the next thing that I'm going to work with is Firebase login. So if you're not logged in, you definitely need to log in out in your account. So I'm already logged in, so that's great. Now I'll go for Firebase init. That's what you need to do. Now, what all things you need, you can just select that up. I need the Firestore, definitely. I don't need this. Anything else? No, I don't need anything else. So I'll just select the Firestore one and hit enter. Yes, I'll select an existing project. Well, you can create a project directly from it, but I won't suggest you just create it from there. I think that will be better. Now I'll select the application chat app. Okay, once that is done, it is asking me Firestore rules. I'll just hit enter. It will take the same file. Again, enter. All right, done. Now, if you get some other stuff also for the web and something, then definitely you can go for that and do like just try to finish it up. All right. Now, you need to use Angular Fire package for this. So ng add Angular/Fire. That's what I'm going to use. Now, if you're confused, let me just show you out here. So I'm going to search out here Angular Fire. And this is the package that is coming up. So this is the command that you can use to install it up. I'll copy, and I already have done that. So I don't need to do anything else. I'll just hit enter. Now this ng is very important. Well, if you don't have this particular command running, then you simply need to install the Angular CLI. Remember that up. Angular CLI. That's very important. You can get it from here. All right. This is the thing that you need to install and you're good to go. So I have already installed that up, so I can directly go ahead with this particular stuff. So now everything is ready to go. Now I'll simply run this command ng add Angular/Fire. I hope you have already installed the Angular CLI, which I've already shown how to do that up. If not done, then simply do that up. All right. If you want to learn more about this particular plugin, then you can simply go to this, you can search for this particular one, Angular Fire, and you will get the first package, npm package. You can open it up and look into it pretty nicely to understand each and every step that you need to work with. All right. Now, what am I going to do? Well, they have upgraded to 7.5.0. Well, so if someone is using the earlier version, then there is a problem because the Angular 15 is being launched. So it is not compatible with that version. Now they have launched 7.5.0, which is pretty much compatible, which is fully compatible actually, not pretty much. So I'm going to use that up now. I'll just hit enter. Let's see what do we get. And remember, I have Angular CLI version 15, means the latest version that I have right now. If you have any compatibility issues out there, simply go for the latest version. Now out here, at first I'll hit the space bar because I don't want to select the ng deploy hosting one, which is selected by default. So if you just hit the space bar, then it will go away. Now I'll select authentication Firestore, and I don't think I need anything else. So I will just hit enter by selecting these two things. Now I'm going to select the account. So hit enter. Now I'll select the project, which is chat app. Once that is done, okay. Please select an app. So you must have created an app out there. If not, then create one. So I have created one, Fire Chat. So I will take that. So this is basically the web configuration that is going to enable, means the SDK for Firebase will be installed automatically into our environment and everywhere wherever we need. So if you check the environment, I'll just show you the development file. So out here you can see this is just the thing that is being done automatically. You don't need to do anything out here. All right, it will be tackled automatically by this system, whatever we are running, ng-add, then the plugin name. All right, and not only that, it's going to modify your app.module.ts file too. Let's check that out. So in the app.module.ts, well, I have something different out here, but you will get this stuff, then provided auth, this particular one, and the last one. All right, now why have I changed out here? Let me just tell you. If you run this thing in your application, then it's not going to detect out here. All right, that is why in order to detect in real devices or in simulators and emulator, I think it's going to work, but in iOS there is a problem which I faced earlier on. So that is why this is the solution for this particular problem, that you have to comment this thing up. All right, and you have to just paste this particular code out there and you are going to go. Now what is being done out here, simply let me just explain you. I'm just checking out here that the capacitor, means whether you are using a native platform or not, means the device in which you are using this particular application, is it a native one or not? If the answer is yes, then it is going to initialize auth and it will get the application and will set to persistence to IndexedDB local persistence. Okay, if you want to know about it, you can simply hover and you will get all the things out there. I don't need to explain anything. An implementation of persistence of type local using IndexedDB for the underlying storage. So if there is anything that's stored, then you can use this up as the IndexedDB storage. Okay, that you can check it in your console log, means not a console, the storage one out there. All right, nearby the console log, so nearby the console one in the browser. So that's where you can just check it out, IndexedDB, whether you have anything or not. So that is what it is checking out here. In app, it is needed to hold some data, maybe, right? And finally, if you're not in application, then you will simply get the auth if you're using in browser. That's how it is going to work. So like I said, it's going to create a problem in iOS, so better have this thing up, then it's going to be pretty smooth, right, for you to work with all this stuff. All right, now once this is done, our SDK part is done. Now we can simply move ahead with the other functionalities that we need to work for the authentication. So we can directly work around with the functionality now. So now comes the part, very important part actually, that is the services. Let's go ahead with this. So at first, what I'll do, scroll down, I'll create some services, Ionic G, I'll create the services folder. Then within the services folder, I need an auth service. So I'll create a auth folder, and within that I'll create the auth service. So let's see how it can be done. Okay, my mistake. The command is wrong. Ionic G service. Then the path comes for the folder. You can see this services folder is created, and within that the auth folder is created, and we have these two files. So that's how we are going to work with this. So I'll create all the files that I need. I'll create another service which I'll name it as chat service, chat. Okay, so again this is also created. Great. After that, what am I going to do? Well, I will create a guard. So guard is also very important. Ionic G guard, which will protect your routes, and I'll name it as auth. Instead of that, I'll create a guards folder. Within that, I'll have auth/auth. Same manner which we did for our services. So now this will also be created, but I need to select which one I want. Let's go for can load. Okay, that will be better. You can go for can activate also by default. That's pretty okay. There is a minor difference between the two, which I have already explained in the previous video. So let me just explain you pretty quickly. So can activate will enter the page and then look for the whatever logic you're applying out there. But can load will first check the logic. It will not enter the page. It will not check the page, and it will go ahead. Means it until unless it is true, it won't go ahead. Alright, okay, the guard is also created. This is the thing that we have. Okay, I have selected can activate and can load both, but I'll remove one of those, no need to worry. We'll fix that later on, but for the time being, let's go ahead and work with our auth service. That's what we need to work with. But before working out here, one important thing I missed out is I need to go to the app module and work with this particular stuff in order to get the Firebase SDK working. So in the imports, let me break it down. So after this, I'm going to have few other stuff, which is this particular ones. All right. So you simply copy and paste, or you can get it from the source code also, and let me import it up. So out here, I'm going to apply the imports and the errors are gone. So you can, even if you don't do this part, undo this. Let me just hover on this. You will get this particular missing files and you can directly import it up. Alright, so our setup is done for the SDK. Now we can go ahead with the auth service. Where is it? Auth service, and work around with this stuff. So now in the auth service, I need to inject few stuff. So let me do it one by one. At first, I need the auth. So I'll get it directly from the auth. I'll import it from @angular/fire/auth. Alright, so this will be the fire authentication part. Let's have this at first and work with this. So other things I'll get it later on. Alright, one by one. So now what am I going to do? I'll create few functions out here. Now before going for the functionality, let me have few properties quickly. One will be the UID to hold the ID or user ID. Alright. And behavior subject I'm using so that it will be an observable. I can track it wherever I want to. The current user ID, I can get it from here itself directly. Then I'm going to go for the login and sign up functionality. Let's go for that. So I'll simply paste few code and I'll explain you what exactly I've done out here. At first I've created a login function, just get one by one, okay? And I'm doing everything within the async await try catch block. Alright. So now I'm getting the response and I'm using await. Let me import it. Once that is done, everything is gone. Sorry, all the errors are gone out here in this particular line. Then within this particular one, you need to pass the auth and then the email and password. So that is what I have done. So email and password are the parameters that I am passing out here. So I'll be passing from there itself, wherever I'm using this particular function. Then if user exists, then I'm going to check. Sorry, if the response exists, within the response, I'll get the user. I know that. That's why I have directly given it up. You can give a question mark also to be on the safe side. Then I'm setting the user. All right. I don't need anything else. And if there is any error, I'm going to throw the error in this particular manner. Fine. Then in order to get the ID, this is the stuff that I'm using. So constant auth equals to get auth. Okay, because this particular get auth holds the current user ID. So current user, not ID, current user, it will going to hold in this particular manner. I'm getting the current user out here. This dot current user, which I have already mentioned in the as a property. Then I'm initializing the current user to that particular current user, and then I'm returning the UID within that. All right, so get ID will hold the UID of that particular one. All right, that is what I'm doing. And then if you want to set the user ID, well, you can directly do this, but I won't store it. I will instead pass it in the observable so that we can play around with this particular one. All right, whenever we want in this particular project. Okay. Now after that, I have created a random function, random interval from, which actually I have done for the image one to track the image size, because I want different images to show up. That is why I have done this part. So I'll be generating that number randomly, the last one. If you don't remember, you can just skip this particular function for the time being. It will be coming into play later on. Then the register function is very much important because we will get the value and we are going to work with that. So this particular one, I need to import it up. Let's get it done. The importing is done. Now out here also, it's the same stuff. We need to pass this up. If you hover on it, you will get that up. Auth, email and password. That's what we need to pass. And I'm just consoling the whatever value that I'll be getting, and I'll be getting the email. This is the data that I have prepared. I don't need any phone number. Let me remove it. And yeah, this is the photo that I was talking about. So up till here, the URL is the same. And after that, I'm playing around with this random interval to have some value between 200 to 400 so that it can be randomly generated and I can pass this particular image out there directly. All right, once that is done, let me remove this one too. And out here, well, I won't be using any API service. I just used it earlier, but I won't be using it out here. For the set document, or should I do it? Let's go for it. I think that will be better. So let me create another service. I'll name it as API service in this particular manner. Now we can have this particular API service injected private API service from API service. All right, done. Now in the API service, what all things do I have? I need the set document to set document into this particular Firestore database. So let's go for that. Now in order to go for that, I need to have inject something. Firestore I need to inject at first. So Firestore is injected, but I need an identifier which I'll name it as Firestore only in this particular manner. And then, well, I'm going to create one function which will be this docref that will return the document where we have from the Firestore, where we will pass the path dynamically. All right. And after that is done, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the document. All right. So this is a set doc function that I'm going to use. So this is how I'm going to set the document dynamically. All right. So I'm using the same function again and again everywhere in the chat service. Also, we can use it up to set the message in the document. That's why I'm placing it in one service. All right. So now I can directly use it out here. And okay, so this error is gone now. Great. Now we will get the user.id from here itself, whatever data we get in the registered user. All right, I'm placing that up and I'm returning that user data. So once the registered functionality is completed, the next thing is the reset password. I'm not working with it, but if you want to work with it, definitely I will keep this particular code for you. So I'll just import it up and you're good to go. Just have this functionality and everything will work for you. Then for the logout functionality, I don't need any storage. So this is the thing that you need to use for the logout one. You need to clear your UID one and you need to sign out from FireAuth. That's what you need to do and you're good to go. Then the next thing comes out here is the on auth state change. If there is you're logging out and you're logging in with another user, then you need to track this up. All right, so this is very much important. So I've just imported it up. Fine, and you're good to go. Great. So once that is done, everything is great out here. Now the last thing is to get the user data. So in order to get the user data, now remember this up that we are using out here Firebase 9. That is a modular version. If you don't want to use this modular version, then this is the version that you can use. That is why I've written this particular code in my course. Also, I have explained everything from the earlier version, Firebase 8 up till 8 version, and then how to transform to the modular version. Everything is explained out there pretty nicely. So out here, I'm just giving a brief idea what needs to be done. So get document by ID, this function also I need. So I'll just get it done in my API service. So this is the functionality that I'm going to have, and this particular one, I'll just import it up and everything is good to go. So this is how I can get the document by ID. So I just need to pass the path and that's it. So this is how I made it pretty simple for you guys to work with it, right? Now going back to the auth service, what else do I need to do? Nothing actually. So I'll remove this one, not needed for me. All right, so everything is good to go out here, I suppose, right? Now remember one thing, if you're registering out here for different users, then you need to make sure you are doing it in the incognito, because every time you create a new user, then you will have certain problems. Say like the auth state change will have the new user data, and at that point of time you will face some error. So I would suggest to have this in the incognito part. And if you want to sort this problem, well, I have explained in my course how it can be done by using the URLs, what URL you need to use to get this done, that I have explained out there. All right. And still, if you have problem, let me know in the comment section or Q&A section. Fine, let's go ahead and work with the auth guard, because I need to protect the guards. But before protecting the guards, I need to go for the login and sign up functionality, right? And in order to work with that, I need to go to the login page. But before that, the sign up page actually, because we don't have any user right now. Or do we actually have the user? But what I'll do, I'll remove all the users from there. So I'll just close everything. And in here, let me just open up again console Firebase Chat App, and I'll go to the authentication because I need the users also for this particular one. So I don't have the users because I deleted everything. That's why I'm going to delete each and every one of those. All right, so everything is cleared now. Let's go ahead with this stuff. So I'll go to the login functionality now. Sorry, sign up functionality. So let me just create this function out here. So this is the function that I'm going to have. Now I don't need any loader. Okay, I'm not going to show any loader out here. Nothing I'm going to show for the time being. For using the router and auth service, I need to inject it out here. So private router. Okay, this is the one. from @angular/router. Then the auth service will be from private auth service from the auth service. All right, import it. Once that is done, no errors are there. Great. Now in the register function, what have I done? I'm getting the form and I'm logging the value out here. Then I'm calling my register function from the auth service and passing the value there directly. Once I'm doing that, I will be getting some response. And when I get the response, then what am I doing? I'm just navigating to the home page directly using this particular navigate by URL function, which is available in the router one. All right, then I'm resetting the form so that it will be cleared up. After that is done, in the catch one, what am I doing? If there is any error, that means there can be errors such as email already exists, right? If you're passing the same email, or if there is any other error, then I will simply pass this default message out here. All right, and we can show it in an alert one. And for the alert, well, I can use an alert controller for doing that up. All right, and if you want to see how it can be done, well, let me just go out here to the Ionic framework documentation and I'll search for Ion alert. This is the one. So in the Ion alert, what am I going to do? Let's go for the TypeScript one. So this is the function for showing the alert. Let me simply copy this particular function and I'm going to paste it out here directly. All right. Now this alert controller, I need to inject it up out here. Private alert controller from alert controller. Import it. Fine. No errors. Great. Now this message MSG, I'll pass it as a parameter MSG. Okay, this is an alert subheader. I won't pass any subheader. Button OK. And now I'm simply going to call this particular function show alert. I'll name it as the same. Fine. The error is gone now. Great. So now let's go for the sign up functionality, and I'm not having any loader. If you want a loader, I'll use a different loader out here. Let's go for that. I'll be using an iron spinner instead of doing anything else. So let me just have an iron spinner. Name will be Crescent. All right. And I'll give a condition out here ng if loader. All right, now is it used anywhere? No, actually. Let me use the same stuff only. Copy it up and I'll paste it out here. If is loading is true, then I'm going to use it up. Am I using it anywhere else? I don't think so. Okay, fine. So what am I going to do? I'll set it to no, don't set anything out here. Let me just do it out here directly. This dot is loading will be set to true. And out here, I'm going to set this dot is loading to false. Okay. And we'll do the same out here also. Great. And iron spinner, well, I need to center it up. So I think I will need to pass a class because it won't be centered by default. So iron text center. Let's see if it works or not. Great. Let's try this up. Okay. What is this error all about? Okay, actually, I'm not using Ionic serve. I just closed it. So I need to use it again. All right, it has opened up and I'll just close this one. Go for this and I'll go for the login one. Great. Let's go to sign up. And in the sign up, I'll just pass a username to be, let's say, Nikhil Agarwal, and email ID. Let me give nikhil@gmail.com. does not exist, but I've still given. It belongs to someone else, I don't know, but I've just given anything. Okay, I'll go for the sign up and there we go. I didn't see any loader actually, so it might not be occurring, I don't know. So you can just play around with this spinner. You can just check it out. Well, I'll just skip this spinner for the time being. I don't think that's important right now. Okay, if you want, definitely you can work around with this, or you can work around with the other stuff, the spinner that I was supposed to give, the loader that I was about to use, the loading controller. You can use it up in order to work with that, but I won't work with that for the time being. So I will won't have it. All right. Okay. And you can give the color also if you want color to be, let me just try it. Danger. All right. Danger is fine. Okay, so I've just kept everything for you guys, so you can just walk around with this stuff. I don't want to do that up. All right, now what can I do? If I just go to the login one again, login, I'll go for the sign up, and if I try to go for the same email address this time, let's see what happens. I've given anything, any password, let me give, okay, and out here I'll give nikhil@gmail.com. Will I get the error or not? Let's check it out. Yes, I do get it, but the error message is different actually. Auth email already in use. So that's what I gave actually, why I'm getting this particular stuff. Auth email already in use. That's what I'm checking, e.code. And I'm logging this particular one also. So what am I getting in the logs? All right, well, nothing is shown out there in the logs properly. Why is that so? That's a message that is coming up. I don't understand why. Anyways, let it be. What can we do? Or if you want to modify the message, definitely if you're not happy with the message, you can pass your own message that email already in use. Let's see whether it gets replaced or not. So I'll just pass this one quickly. Username, password. All right, let's go for it. That's working actually. All right, so you can play around with this particular message one. Whatever you want to give, you can just pass it out here. That's great. So this is working. Let's move ahead. What else we need to do? We need to do the same functionality for our login also. Let's go out there and work with the same stuff. So in the login, I'll just uncomment this and have this particular code. All right, I won't use the loaders. All right, that's gone. Now router and auth service is needed out here too. I'll get it from here itself directly. Let's go for all these three because I need the same functionality out there also. You can use a service for that like I was supposed to do. I've already done in my courses about all this stuff. So you don't have to use these controllers again and again everywhere. So I just have defined it dynamically out there. You can just check that out. Okay, once that is done, I'll go again to the sign up page and copy this particular function and pass it out here too. All right, once that is done, everything is good to go. This one I'll uncomment and remove this global one. That's great. Once that is done, everything is good to go. And I have passed out here my own messages, so everything is fine. That's great. Nothing else I need to do out here. All right, so similar thing only. I'm just calling the login function and other things are the same. Nothing else is changed. All right, so I can just directly go for the login function. Let's go. I'll go back. Email address nikhil@gmail.com. Password, I have just entered it up. Remember me, it doesn't matter. All right, I'll just go for the login directly and I'm logged in, right? So this is working pretty nicely. Now I need to close the guard because if you're not logged in, you cannot enter this particular one. Let me just show you. If I just go to the incognito mode and open this particular one project, you are getting redirected to the home page directly without getting authenticated, which I don't want. That is why I'm going to apply the auth guard. And you can apply the auto login guard also. If you suppose you are already logged in, you cannot enter the login one also, but that part I won't show. I will just show you the auth guard. So let's go out here to the auth guard which we have already created, and in here I'm going to work around with some code. So this particular code I'm going to replace it completely with my one. So this is the code that I'm using out here. Now within this I've replaced everything. So I'm using can load and I'm passing the route, which is also not needed. You can simply remove all of this. All right, because nothing is in use right now. Let me remove everything. Okay, let me keep it. Fine. So I'm just calling the check auth function from the auth service, which I have already injected out here, and the router also, and these things, well, you can skip this part. So once that is done, now I'm doing this up and I'll get the user from there itself. I'll check the user. If the user exists, and I'm simply going to return true. Now if I return true, I will do some functionality to make it work. Don't need to worry, I'll just show you right now. And if the user does not exist, then I'm simply going to navigate to the login page by using this particular route and this particular navigate function I've created out here, where I'm using this router to navigate by URL to this particular URL, and I'll replace URL to true. That means all the earlier URLs will be replaced and this will be the fresh URL. That means it will redirect to that and there will be no previous pages. All right, and returning to false out here. So definitely a promise will work. I'm just returning the Boolean value true and false. That's how it's going to work. Now once that is done, in the catch one also I have passed the same functionality as the else one, because I just want to redirect to the login page if there is any error also. Alright, so once that is done, everything is fine, great. Now, how do I use it up? I'll go to the app routing module file, and out here in the home one, I need to pass it up because that's where I need to pass the guard, because I don't want it to open up until unless this guard is satisfied with the stuff that it needs. And I'll pass out here a auth guard. This is the one. I'll import it. Now you can pass multiple guards out here. It's not necessary that you can pass only a single guard. So that is why it is an array. Now everything is good to go. Let's try it now. Okay, what's the error? Let me go to the auth guard. Why it is giving me an error out here? Not all code returns a value. Why is that so? Return false. Is that fine? I've already passed it out there, but let me just do it again. Now the error is gone. Let me just remove it from here. Sometimes if it doesn't work in that manner, but anyways, now I don't think I have any error. Great. Let me open this particular thing in incognito again. And let me paste it up. Now you can see I'm getting redirected to the login page instead of the home page. So it is saying that you're not logged in, go for the login one and then come back to the home page. That is what it's happening out here. Let me close it. So this is working pretty nicely. Now we need to work around with this particular stuff, the main part, the core part of it. Alright, so you have seen how we have authenticated properly. We have used the guards for authenticating and not navigating without authentication, proper authentication. So everything is covered up pretty nicely. So with this, I'll wrap up this lecture out here. But before wrapping up, I would like to tell you that if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that up. And how did you like this course? Do give a 5-star rating in Udemy. This is for free. And if you want to get the source code also, well, if you are in Udemy, definitely you will get the source code for this particular video. But if you are on YouTube, if you're watching it on YouTube, definitely you can get the source code, but you have to enroll the course in Udemy to get the source code. Remember that, guys. It's free. I won't charge anything for all this stuff, but you have to enroll it up. Go and check that out, guys. So with this, now I will wrap it up, this particular video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.